What's up, Tentacle teammates? I'm Quacker's Coat, and this is the Fish Fry, where I give you the lowdown on the next salmon run stage with weapon benefits, stage strategies, and general tips for helping you maximize your potential with Grizzcoat. This is for the stage rotation that's happening on October 13th, and it's being held at Sockeye Station. This run features the weapons, the Aerospray MG, the Undercover Brella, the Flingza roller, and the heavy Splatling. The weapons on this rotation have a lot of paintability and damage that they can deal, but our big problem is going to be range. So we're going to need to give ourselves as many movement options as possible. Painting the bottom and top of the tower walls are extremely necessary, and when you have a high tide, the sidewalls become very useful on making an escape instead of feeling so cornered. Over time, these walls will get painted by fly fish and moths, and we'll find it more difficult to get around the map. So make sure we put as much paint onto those walls, and remember all of our movement options that we have. Holding the jump input as we swim into the wall can count as the held input for charging your squid surge. This can be very helpful on speeding up your time on getting to the top of those walls. And remember to utilize squid surge and wall jumps on the tower wall facing the basket. A lot of times they'll get covered up by ink, and we have other ways of getting to the top of that wall other than swimming all the way to the top of it. And especially with the weapons of this rotation, wall jumping to the edge of the grate can help to quickly give you a little bit more range. So make sure you utilize the top of that tower to be the best teammate you can. And when tossing eggs, if there's an incline to the basket, if you're still on the incline, the egg usually won't reach the basket, but when you get to the top of the incline, it'll finally reach it. So keep that in mind if you're tossing eggs. And when dealing with glowflies, try not to wall hang on that tower wall facing the basket or chill on the corner. If you hang out about 3/4 of the way down to halfway up the tower, that'll give you a little bit more chance and a better scattering of eggs. And in case you get bumped off, that's more distance for the salmonids to go before they can get to you. So with those walls painted, it'll give you more options to help get back up to safety. There's also the chance of an egg landing up in the wall that you can collect on your way back up. 3 of these weapons do a great job at taking out bosses as long as you can get them in your range. Just make sure if you're taking out stingers that you eventually make your way to the top of the tower to see where you're most needed. And also, don't camp big shot cannons. By the time you launch that 3rd egg, the snatcher is already heading for that first one that you launched. And for steel eels, once you know that they're targeting you, do your best to not wrap them around the basket. That causes other teammates to only be able to toss eggs into the basket, and it really constricts the flow of eggs. And for activating salmonids, shooting right towards the ground of their shield will get just a little bit of ink on the floor for you to activate them. For low tide, you're going to find yourself getting into the mix of it just because of the range of these weapons. Remember to use those sides as much as possible. Get in and get out. Don't spend that much time in there. What range we have, use it to your advantage. And remember, you can throw an egg from the bottom of the shoreline to the top of the tower. Okay, let's get into the weapons of this salmon run. The first weapon of this rotation is the Aerospray MG. The Aerospray MG sports an insane fire rate at a pretty good range, but since its spread is so wide and it causes such a small amount of damage, it does great to keep a little bit of distance between you and the salmonids. But when you need to get really close up to those bosses in order to cause all of that damage. So just keep that in mind when you're dealing with a long horde. It may be helpful to just back up a little bit and then slowly push in when you're dealing with a high priority target. And also, just that little bit of extra range will help give you an advantage on some of these bosses. So use that insane coverage that it has in order to get to where you need to and cause that damage. The second weapon of this rotation is the Undercover Brella. The Undercover Brella has a spread that's wider the further away you are. And also when its umbrella is open, it can block steelhead bombs. But don't keep that Brella open for too long or you'll get bounced. But you'll find it a little difficult to hit something that's small really close up. So try to look for that sweet spot that this weapon has. Once you get everything to fit right into that reticle, it can cause supreme damage. The third weapon of this rotation is the Flingza roller. Rollers used to be really good at painting mid to low walls while rolling, but with the new physics of Splatoon 3, they work better with just vertical flings. The Flingza works really great with vertical flings because of its fanned out fling. So using a combination of vertical flings to cause damage and to move around the map works really well. And then in a moment when you really need to get away, holding down that roller can get you to safety really quickly. But make sure you dip right back down into the ink to get some of that ink back, because rolling takes a lot out of this. So remember where that flick can be most useful, with fish sticks and causing quick damage to a scrapper. So combining the flick, the fling, and the roll, this weapon is a very useful tool. It can only splat small fry and chum with its roll. So if you're going to challenge a Quahog, make sure you pre-damage it. And randomly, you can take out the bottom 2 buckets of a stinger. But after that point, you can't cause any more damage with rolling, so you'll have to cause the rest of it through flicks or flings. The last weapon of this rotation is the heavy Splatling. With the heavy Splatling having the most range of this rotation, it'd be smartest to play this weapon very defensively, looking for those proper moments that you can use its range and its fire rate. So if you find something too close to you, it might be more useful to throw a splat bomb, swim away, and then use its range. And remember that the fish fry comes out before the stage rotation, so if you want to catch these updates when they're hot and fresh, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. And if you want other fellow Grizzco employees to receive these tips, make sure you like and share the video. Bye-bye.